Kazuya Kinoshita has a horrible disease. The disease is called simp. It's a terrible disease that commonly affects the Gen Z men in 2022, and it's only getting worse. He just can't stop paying for the services of women after his one and only girlfriend dumped him after just 1 month. He has to support his addiction by working a part-time job as well as having his university life, and to top it all off, his friends constantly tease him about being a virgin. "Virgin's gonna virgin," I quote. If you look up the word simp in the dictionary, you'd find this man's name right underneath. If you pay any attention to social media, Rent-A-Girlfriend gets a lot of hate, and yet after the second season has just finished airing, a further third season was announced. So why does Rent-A-Girlfriend get so much hate? And if people hate it so much, why is a third season coming? These are questions we'll explore in this video. The story starts with the devastated Kazuya getting dumped by Mami, his now ex-girlfriend, and subsequently discovers a rental girlfriend site, and he rents Chizuru for the day in order to fill the void in his heart. But after accidentally introducing her to his family are thrilled to discover that the notorious virgin actually has a girlfriend, and so Kazuya feels unable to tell them the truth and disappoint them. So the web of lies begin. I think this is where the hate for the show really began, literally right at the beginning, because the MC Kazuya seems to make decision after decision that just makes you want to tear your hair out. I mean, let's face it, he could have quite easily said she was a friend or, something along those lines, but then we wouldn't have much of a show if he didn't make these choices. But this is just the start. After further introducing Chizuru to his friends, he also discovers he happens to live next door to her. Convenient, I know. But when he goes on a double date with his friend, who has also secretly brought a rental girlfriend too, Ruka, his friend's quote-unquote girlfriend takes an interest in him and wants to start dating him for real rather than just as a rental. And this is where he makes his second mistake, because he never really wanted to date Ruka because his heart belongs to Chizuru, but he's too spineless to refuse Ruka, and now he has this juggling act between a fake girlfriend who he wants to be real, and a real girlfriend who he wants to be fake. And his simping and spinelessness was the basis for the decisions he makes throughout the rest of the show. As for the rest of the show, we have 4 top tier waifus in my opinion. Chizuru is the main girl and the main love interest of Kazuya. She begins the series as the #1 amateur rental girlfriend who is seemingly perfect in her looks and a rental girlfriend personality, but we soon discover her personality to be more tsundere and slightly cold outside of her professional demeanour. Next we have Mami, the ex. Mami starts off by dumping Kazuya at the start of the show, but she still maintains a cute exterior to him, which makes Kazuya still somewhat pine to have her back, but her viewers are soon shown her more sinister and perhaps jealous side when she sees Kazuya walking around with a pretty girl like Chizuru. And then we have Ruka, who, as I described before, was Kazuya's friend's secret rental girlfriend, who, for some mysterious reason, fell for Kazuya and begged him to date her on a preliminary basis because she knew he liked Chizuru. Ruka is very forward and outgoing, and she isn't shy about showing affection towards Kazuya, and she also has a cute design too. And finally we have Sumi, who is yet another rental girlfriend who is friends with Chizuru. She's extremely shy to the point where she's too scared to even speak. However, when she does pluck up the courage to speak, her voice is very soft and quiet, and her words are quite meaningful. Sumi practices being a rental girlfriend with Kazuya, but in season 2 we see her develop some real feelings towards him despite knowing that Chizuru is the one he likes the most. So here we have 4 top tier girls where the viewer could have a legitimate argument to choose any one of the 4 despite knowing that Chizuru is the main girl and the one who will win in the end. And I think the fact the viewer could choose any one of the 4 despite 3 of them being side girls is a testament to the writers of Rent-A-Girlfriend. Usually in harems it's hard to care too much about the side girls because they don't have enough character development compared to the main girl and are only used to progress the plot, so the hate towards the show isn't really directed at the waifus. Despite the show being popular and getting a fair bit of exposure on social media, its second season plummeted to a score of 6.86 on MyAnimeList, which by any standard is pretty poor, let's face it. So let's look through some of the comments on MyAnimeList and identify why people are hating it so much. Holy FCK, I want to puke because of the MC. It's been a while since I did a full review on an anime that I knew was going to be rubbish. Listen, season 1 had an interesting start, but as the season went on, we got exposed to Kazuya more and more, with even more waifu bait, combined with an ending that was so on brand for the series, it really wasn't shocking. It played a lot of rom-com stereotypes and cliches, and it had little originality besides its premise. Have you ever been a witness to an accident like a car crash or a building collapse? Because honestly that's how I would describe watching Rent-A-Girlfriend season 2. It's a disaster, but you just can't keep your eyes off it. Whilst the art style is nice, the soundtracks are enjoyable, the voice acting is done pretty well, and the concept of the story is decent, the main character is really unbearable. Kazuya overthinks everything, he's immature for his age, he feels like a college aged character in an early high school student. and is just not very bright at all. But in my opinion, this comment sums up the reason for the hate the best. Perhaps that is due to Kazuya being the weirdo that he is. I can see how so many find him detestable. He's totally not the kind of strong masculine heart reaper, annoyed at the harm his very presence gathers like in other series. I can see how men find him cringeworthy, whilst women may even feel offended that somebody even thought a girl would even fall for such a loser. I dig that. However, believe it or not, guys like him exist, pathetic and hopeless but kind-hearted and ready to jump into the firestorm for a girl they're fond of who never really seems to notice them. Worst of all, guys that don't really have any passions of their own, thinking that just giving yourself away and hoping to get something back is the way to go about love. I've been that guy, maybe not as cringy as he is, I hope. There is so much I can relate to. I think haters are ultimately people who are actually most like him and can relate to him, and they actually secretly like him, and the people who openly like the show either have never been a simp or are former simps and just look back at it and can laugh. I personally really like the show, and as somebody who's put his simping days behind him, I can both relate and empathise with his mindset, but also hope one day the character can move forward and actually gain a backbone and build an actual life for himself, and if not, I'll still enjoy the story. But what do you think? Do you agree with the hate? Are you looking forward to season 3? Let me know. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing and liking the video, and I'll see you next time.